Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of RightOffTrack. I'm your host, Anya Smith, and today we're diving into the inspiring story of someone who's taken a unique path on their way to success. Our guest today is Adam Faulkner. He's the driving force behind CreativeAF, a freelance business that specializes in making videos. What's cool is that he started the business during the pandemic without much money, any clients, or even a portfolio. It was a big risk that ended up working out. Adam isn't just a business owner. He also mentors young people for the UK charity, the Prince's Trust. He's passionate about helping others succeed and live their best life, and that passion is pretty contagious. Adam's journey is a testament to being determined and creative. He has experience from working in newspapers at big newspapers and for major TV production companies in the UK. Nowadays, he creates videos that really catch your attention and inspire the audience. But Adam's skills aren't just about what you see. He's also about sound, creating a unique mix of visuals and custom audio that make brands stand out. He uses well-made videos and original music to give his clients something special. And beyond his work, Adam's got a taste for adventure. He and his friend once rode bicycles all the way from London to Tokyo, making music with people they met along the way. It's that kind of brave and creative spirit that we love highlighting on Right Off Track. Adam shows us how to keep going even when things get tough and how to use creativity to make the best of any situation. So, whether you're running a business or you're just into creative stuff or looking for inspiration, Adam's story will give you a boost. Remember, if he can do it, why not you? And now let's dive in and welcome Adam. Hey, welcome to the
Hi,
show.
hey Anya, how are you doing? You okay? Thank you for having
Oh,
me.
I'm waking
I'm
up. I'm
really,
waking up, but excited to have you.
yeah, I'm well into the day, so I've got a bit of a
Uh,
head start on you today, but yeah,
Thank you.
I'm I'm
We make
I'm
it
I'm
work.
I'm
Where in the world are
energized.
you? Just for our
I
audience to know.
I live in a place called Belfast, which is actually in Northern Ireland, which is in the UK. But I'm not from there. Just to be clear, I'm English, and I'm from a little known city, or near it to a little known city called Liverpool in England.
Ooh, I think I've heard about it. I think I've heard about it occasionally. Well, I'm so grateful for you joining, and just want to give a shout out to Jane, our common friend, who connected us. And she's like, "You need to talk to Adam. He's wonderful. He'll be a great person for the show." So thank you, Jane. We're
Thank you,
making it
Jane.
happen because of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Jane.
And to
We love you, Jane.
we love you. You're amazing. Such an amazing human being. And her podcast is coming out soon, so listen to that too. But Adam, I'm excited to talk to you. In our call before this, like I really enjoyed, like obviously your work is amazing and we'll dive into it, but I also just enjoyed your personal story, like how you're growing in your freelance business as a person. And so I'm excited to dive into that because I think we often see just what's kind of public, whether it's your LinkedIn persona, kind of like the things that are superficial, but it's inspiring to see like how an individual grows throughout this journey, kind of what their purpose looks like and how they evolve their work around that. So that's a lot of context, but can you share with me a little bit like how did Creative AF start?
Well, I went to university and did languages and English, and I've always enjoyed that storytelling and just communicating. And then I got into journalism, and I was a newspaper journalist for big national newspapers in the UK, and I really enjoyed that. And then it kind of was a dying institution in a way. Newspapers. I don't know what it's like where you live, but people don't really read them anymore. As in, they still exist. And then I thought, oh, do you know what? My passion is storytelling still. And then I moved into TV production with a kind of dream about working on and making documentaries. So I did that for a few years, and I really enjoyed that. And then I kind of realized that I didn't love television, as in watching it. So then me and my friend basically cycled from London to Tokyo as a kind of reaction to just wanting to go on an adventure and not being completely unhappy in our lives, but just I see all the thread as a storytelling thing. It's
Yeah.
tell your own story, get out there and tell other people's stories and learn about other people's stories. So did that, came back, and then I was like, I need to work for myself. And so I was like, I'm going to start my own video production company because I love, making things with cameras and telling stories with cameras and telling stories with sound and all that. So I decided to start my own business, CreativeAF. And about a week after that, I decided that. I was very excited. Then there was the pandemic. So that was quite strange. Obviously a very strange time for everyone. I don't want to get into that too much, but it was just like, oh, okay. So what should I, how do I start a business when everyone's very worried about their, like genuinely worried about like their lives? It's quite hard to convince people to be like, let's work together. Let's do some
Let's have fun.
creative
Let's
things.
Have a fun
Let's
video.
have fun. Let's have fun. Let's make some fun videos. You couldn't really leave your house or flat or apartment. So that was quite weird. But I basically built a business from home for 18 months where I would just make things for companies, mainly food and drink because that was easier. But it was great actually because I actually didn't have a portfolio and I didn't have any clients and I didn't really have any money actually, which was a bit worrying. But I actually remember it as such a beautiful time because I lived with my friend, well, two friends, my friend William and his girlfriend Amelia, and we had this little crew. And then there were all these other people, a few other people in the apartment block. And then I actually met my girlfriend, who is my neighbor, and I'm still with now. We live together, and it was just such a. So I basically met my girlfriend who lived next door, and I started a business. So that time for me was fantastic. Like as in really pivotal, amazing like growth and just this like whoa, these two crazy brilliant things happened to me. But the business has just grown from there. Like I'm not a hustler. Like I don't like the word hustler, but I'm a very determined person. Because I just go, well, why not? Like, why not? Like, I just want to make things happen. And I got my first paid client because me and my housemate built a bar in the garden because he was a bartender, mixologist.
Of course.
He doesn't really like those terms, but that's what he was. And so we built this bar in the garden and I just was filming him making videos just because we liked it. And then I was like, hold on a sec, we can do this for brands because they can't go anywhere, they can't get anything, they can't do anything, whereas we live together, so this is completely fine. Like it's not breaking any rules, or we lived in the same flat, so and he's a very skilled person and I'm a skilled person, so together we just kept doing that for ages. And then we just like brands would be like, oh, can you do this for us, can you do this for us? And so that was kind of the business for ages, to the point where when everyone could leave their houses and kind of get back to normal life, I didn't really understand how to run a business in the real world because I was so used to doing that. So it was quite weird for me for a while because I was like, oh right, I can go out now and do different projects and work with different people, and I don't have to just do it at home or in our garden. So it was kind of that was a bit of a weird transition, but obviously humans are very adaptable. You get used to it, don't you? And then
right.
So it's just been, that was 3.5 years ago now. So yeah, wow. So times change, and I'm always looking to grow. I have a vision and not a plan, if that makes sense. Like I don't.
Right.
I don't know how people do have plans really, because it makes you feel bad if you change them. Whereas if you have a vision, you can go with that. And a vision to me is something that you kind of grow into, and you can, it's be adaptable and take opportunities where they come and just grow. And that's my vision. So my life path's pretty set really, because it's basically a determination and a commitment to growing in whatever direction I feel like. So which is a great vision for me because I know that I will do it. I've never been someone to just sit at home and do nothing. It's not in my DNA to do that. Because my mum and dad used to be entrepreneurs and they had their own business. So I've kind of grown up with these people as my role models who just, you know what I mean? They just did their own thing and they were successful. And so you kind of, that was a real inspiration to me. And I just don't know how to stay still really. Like my I've just never been able to do it. Like I don't really know. I relax when I'm active. That's my kind of So if I'm doing things and creating things, I'm still. So, you know, that's the way I am, and I'll always come up with something.
And the world's better because of it.
Well, exactly. I hope so. I mean, my girlfriend's mum, who's a doctor, she actually said to my girlfriend the other day, not to me, but she said to Alice, my partner,
Of course.
that I have a growth mindset, which is that's what they're her words, not mine, and I do have that.
Yeah.
It's just very like, it's not what's the next thing. It's like, you know, it's knowing, it's timing. It's not like, well, I have to grow.
Yeah.
It's not aggressive growth. I think there's a lot of aggressive growth out there where it's like, right, I want to hit these figures, or I want to employ 50 people by next. That is not me. It's just, I'm never gonna. Those numbers are silly. They're just irrelevant to me. The point of growth to me is, you know, enjoying your life and doing the right things at the right time, but knowing that you want to grow. You know, that's really important to me, because my life goal is, to be honest, when I'm an old man, is to reduce, not you can never eradicate regret from your life, but when I'm old, I want to make sure that I reduce the number of regrets. So I'll just be like, I gave that. I gave that a real go.
Did it all.
Not all, because I don't think you'll ever. I always think you'd be like, you know, oh, maybe I wish I'd done that. But like, I just want to reduce it. So it's just like, yeah, maybe I didn't. Maybe I never went to, you know, New Zealand, for example. But I did do all. You know what I mean? That was just an example. I'm not saying that's my life goal to go to New Zealand, but it's
for sure.
And I know that I'll do that when I'm old. I'll just be like, okay, right, well, I'm doing this, and you know, because I think wrongly, in my opinion, people see retirement as this phase of your life where you just stop, and I just don't really think that's right either. So it's more just like, just seek out new opportunities, and as much as you can. That would be my advice to literally anyone, whether they're young or old, because it's what keeps us going.
You know, it's funny, Adam, maybe it's a cultural thing, but a lot of people here, like, they can't wait for retirement, because like, at least at that point, I will stop working and start living, right? So there's like a funny balance where like we put off so much. But can I ask you something just on my mind today?
Yeah,
was like this balance of being motivated enough to pursue improvement, but to your point, balancing like not being so critical to where you're like, it stops you. In case in point, like I was looking at my videos and I was like, oh my gosh, Anya, you should be looking there, and like you need to do something about your background, like, and that is hard for me, right? Like if somebody you put something in and you notice something that could be improving, and you can easily just not do that. You can easily just be like, okay, I'm not gonna do this, I'm just gonna let it be how it is. But there has to be this balance between like, yes, I want to make it better, and also give yourself compassion between like, okay, yeah, I will make it better, but I'm not going to debilitate myself and go crying in bed to stop myself from like this whole thing. How do you balance those things?
Well, I think it's a really interesting point, but definitely, because I'm not a perfectionist, because I never have been. Like I'm one of those people who's like, yeah, let's do something, and accept that it's not perfect, and just get it out there. Like let's get going with it. Let's get it out there, because at the end of the day, like, perfection, A, doesn't exist, and B, like, no one cares about it as much as you do. Like genuinely, like, it's just the things that you're like, oh my, I could have done. Yeah, I mean, you should. Making mistakes is a good thing, because you won't make them again. Like, I'm not saying like, you know, you should aim to make mistakes, but the point is, like, if you're sitting there trying to tweak things all the time, and it's just, you just get lost in it. Whereas I'm just like, right, do that, believe in yourself, of course, and accept that mistakes are going to happen. And then if they do happen, you just go, okay, right, well, I'm glad that happened, because I've learned from it. And then obviously, back to my earlier point, is honestly, people just don't care as much as you think they do. Like, they don't care about your mistakes. They care about their mistakes. They don't care about yours. That's the point. We all care. Our worlds are like so much smaller than people think, really, because we think about our little periphery, what we're doing and who we're interacting with and what they think of us. But really, most people, that's what everyone's doing. So they haven't got time and energy to worry about what you're worrying about. They're worrying about what they're worrying about. So
Right.
I think finding that balance is it's about acceptance. You know, like ego is what drives people to feel bad about what other people think about them, because they're basically going, "Oh, I'm not really sure that I've not done the best." If you know that you've done the best you can do, and there's still a mistake in there, that's okay. Like, it's completely fine. And also, like, people like humans. They're like human beings. Like, we don't, I'm not saying we're not robots. We're obviously not robots. What I'm saying is, if people go, I made a mistake, people genuinely relate to that, rather than people trying to hide that they've made a mistake, because that's what people do. They're like embarrassed that something's not quite worked. I just go, yeah, that's happened. That's happened. So and try and have a laugh about it, because look,
I
there's
try to
very
laugh
few
about it.
things.
I try to laugh about
You
it.
have to. There's very few things. There's very few things that are life and death situations. Like, and I know a lot of medical. I have a lot of people who I know in my life who work in medicine or medical, professions, and they bring a humour to life and death situations. So why are people getting caught up and hung up on like these situations that aren't life and death? It's really weird. Do you know? I don't know if you have any experience of that, but people literally
I think
like
it's biological. Yeah, like
yeah,
I think like to your point, like our brain, like the very we have a lot of survival instincts that
yeah,
made sense at a point where there was like a lion chasing you, but they don't quite
yeah.
make sense. And the kind of like it's no longer life or death, although our brains can't always distinguish that. But we have to like
I think
reel that
our
in.
yeah, I just think our life and death, the non-life and death situations that we are dealing with, people create. It's almost like they have to create some sort of drama with it, but really, A, no one cares, and B, it's the ego that's the problem. It's not you can't, how can you not make a mistake every now and again? It's just impossible to not. Like, you forget something, or just something literally out of your control happens, and then you blame yourself for it. It just doesn't. I mean, I'll be honest with you, like, I run, a video production and sound production. I'm always making things, and the things that I have nightmares about, Anya, are genuinely because you can't control what you dream about. It just happens. I dream about things like losing a memory card, or I dream about,
Oh
like,
no.
genuinely, like, real, like, but to you that might sound, or someone else that'd be like, oh, that's a bit of a rubbish dream. To me, that's a nightmare, because do you know what I mean? It's like, or like, I have a dream that, someone steals, my hard drive. It's weird things like that, where you're like, because if that happens, that would be a nightmare to me.
That's a lot of
The
work.
other week,
Yeah.
the other month, my girlfriend's family cat actually destroyed one of my hard drives by accident. I mean, she didn't mean to,
Right.
and I just
Or
was
did
like,
she?
wow, this for a no, she did, and I fortunately I backed up most of it on somewhere else, because that's what you have to do. But I learned from that, and as well, I was really stressed about it. In the moment, as soon as it passed, I just went, there wasn't anything I could do. It's just like, so you have to just go, okay, right. I've gone through the stressful part of this, and I can't give any more stress to it now. So that's how I deal with, potentially stressful situations. It's like there's like
Yeah.
small explosion, and then I'm like, right, doesn't matter,
Yeah.
does it? Like, mate,
Yeah.
just fine. But I actually enjoy
And
making mistakes, because I genuinely do learn from them.
yeah, I think that how we frame, like how we view the situation is very powerful, right? Like the same
Yeah,
situation can be viewed from a sense of like very debilitating, looking at it very negatively, having judgment around it towards yourself and others, perhaps that situation, where she's like, hey, it happened. Like again, sunk cost. Nothing I can do about it, but I can learn from it to make it better. And do you mind if I unravel a little bit? We talked very briefly about you starting your own business, and again, we'll hear more about the story, but I'm really curious, like, how do you feel about getting to the point of like you feel prepared? What has prepared you to have the confidence, which sounds like it's just ingrained in you and some of that upbringing and just curiosity? Like, what experience prepared you to start your own venture, whether it's, both like from a professional standpoint and just was like, you know what, potentially see a problem and I'm just going to go for it. Can you share a bit about that experience leading up to it and kind of starting things?
I didn't realize how important it was for me to work for myself until I started working for myself. And I even joke now when people say to me, "What do you do?" I say, my answer is this: I work for myself. And then they go, yeah, but what do you do? And I go, and then I just say, the joke is, I'll just say, well, I work for myself, because they want you to say this thing that you do, you know, and the irony is, yeah, all right, I do have a video production business, but I also do other things. And when you try and, people always need a definition that's clear. So my definition is I work for myself, because that's the most important thing to me. And to be honest, it kind of goes back to what I was saying earlier about perfectionism. It's never done. It's like a to-do list that's never done, and it's an amazing journey, you know, an adventure. So I enjoy that, because I am the kind of person who wakes up every day optimistic that I'm going to make something happen today. And I actually wake up excited, and I never used to. It's not that I was in a bad place mentally when I worked for someone. I'm just saying I wasn't as excited. It's just the way it is. I just was like, yeah, I've got to go there, you know, and I've got to do this. Whereas now I'm like, okay, right, I'm up, right, let's let this, you know, and you just think, I can't wait. I can't wait for the next day. You know, I don't want to work 24/7. That's not what I'm saying, but the optimism. And when you know, you have to have these little moments of reflection where you go, look how far you've come. Everyone needs to do that anyway, but especially people who work for themselves. It's like, look at that growth. And I don't mean money, and I don't mean numbers. I mean, wow, look at that journey. And that's very addictive. And you see, like, I think people, you know, you see, like, I see uncertainty as an exciting thing, whereas other people might see it as a scary thing. I'm not scared of it, because to me it means opportunity, whereas to someone else it might mean, well, what we gonna? I need to know. It's like, the point is, you don't know, and that's what's so exciting. I can just go, right, today this has happened, but I didn't expect it to happen. Maybe I wanted it to happen. I manifested it, and then it did, and that is something to celebrate every day. And because I'm extremely motivated to live my best life, I don't have any. There's no issue. I have no issues with you know, G'ing myself up. You know, look, there's things that are difficult, but I don't choose to focus on them because they're boring. You know, like, if I need support, I'll go and get it. Like, yeah, it's lonely. Okay, right. Well, there's loads of other people I can talk to. I don't just sit there going, oh,
yeah,
this is hard. Like, I don't even really use those words anymore. I go, this is exciting. It's about how you frame.
Yeah.
Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
You have to, you know,
Oh,
framing how you see it, and but nothing prepares you for it. But it's the point is, I think there's I'm not going to give you a number, but there's many countless people out there who are in the same position, and we're all on this, you know, this journey of self-discovery and discovery, and I just love that. Like, you know, what more could you want? It's basically every day is a chance to redesign your life.
Everybody listening, thank you so much for joining us. I hope you get a taste for what it's like being a freelancer, or if you're in it, that you maybe get a different perspective or validate your perspective and just get a sense of support of, like, hey, if you're struggling, that's natural. If you have these moments of, like, inspiration, that's amazing, and people can relate to that. And also, I hope you heard through and through, like, find your tribe, find that community that will help you build a strong foundation for your path and people that can relate to it. And of course, if you have any questions or comments, we love to see your feedback. So tag us on social media or tag me, and I can pass those questions to Adam. And if you find this helpful or know somebody who's going through this experience, please share with that friend, help them along their way, share your insights with them too. And thank you so much for coming right off track with us. We look forward to having you on another adventure next time. Take care.